Ladies and gents, fantastic news for left-wing activists in the UK today, because world-renowned popular YouTube host Cenk Uygur is on a visit to the UK. Let's see what he has to say, shall we?
Where are you from, my friend? Where are you from?
Georgia.
Georgia? Is there a war in Georgia? No English. Are you staying here? How long for? How long you been here?
Go inside. Don't talk to them.
Oh, my mistake. Cenk Uygur's not Georgian, he just looked a bit like him. No, that wasn't millionaire socialist Cenk Uygur. That was a fat chancer from Georgia living in a massive posh castle that you're paid for. Easy mistake to make these days, isn't it? Yeah. You remember in the good old days when they used to use castles to keep invaders out? Turns out, in 2024, castles are used to keep invaders in. Brilliant. Right then, first things first, we have to give a big shout out to two Twitter users who do God's work, because just like the now infamous, 3 or 4 dozen child exploitation gangs being ran by swarthy gentlemen, just like all of them, if it was down to the British government, you wouldn't know about any of this. They would cover it all up, just like Keir and Boris and the Greens and the Lib Dems and everybody else, and the College of Policing and the activist judges and the lawyers and the mainstream media and the BBC and the Guardian and Channel 4 and Sky News. Just like all of them, they'd cover the lot of it up. You wouldn't even know it was happening if it wasn't for citizen journalists. Now this is probably less important, like a few million invaders merely robbing the taxpayer. That's probably less important, because there's nothing more evil than the government and the mainstream media and the politicians and the senior police chiefs hiding the ruthless torture, occasional murder and sexual abuse of children. I mean, if you allow that as a society, you are completely bereft of anything even close to a moral compass. And all of the people that allowed it should be in prison. They should be sharing a cell with Ian Huntley, because what they did was just as evil. However, I'm rambling, so I'll stop. Ultimately, this is probably less important than that, because there's nothing lower than that. Like that's not even the bottom rung, is it? Purposely allowing tens of thousands of men to torture and exploit children. There's nothing lower than that. That's subterranean, okay? That's hanging out with the moles and the gophers. But on the bottom rung is this: employing unvetted men, some of them will be criminals, and forcing elderly people to freeze to death. So we could go lower than this if we really tried, and nobody would talk about it and everybody'd cover it up. So hats off to these gentlemen. The Inevitable West, you can find him at Inevitable West on X. And this fella, you can at him on X as well. I don't even want to read his name out, because apparently doing so can get you lifetime bans. So I better not talk about it. But both of those fellas are doing God's work. I'll put links to these videos in the description for the video, so go and follow them if you don't already. As to the stories, Mr. Patriot here has said, this is the UK open border experiment. We give them castles while our elderly freeze and our homeless die in shop doorways. Britain is broken. It's difficult to argue with that sentiment, isn't it? He goes for a bimble around the area, and you can see he's very animated and he's very angry, and he has a right to be. He has a right to be. After what we've been put through for the last 30 years, he has a right to be very, very, very angry. So have a watch, and then I'll sum up afterwards.
Madeley Court Hotel in Telford. 16th century, what I would describe as a castle. This is your open borders immigration. While we have homeless dying in shop doorways and in tents, this is what we're giving to migrants. Take a look. This is what the migrants get, while your pensioner is scared to heat her home this Christmas. Yeah, worried about eating or eating. £5.3 billion a year. 4 million a day. This is the open borders experiment. I just got past you, mate.
You are in private. I'm in private. Yeah, you have to back up.
Luxury, luxury,
Back up.
luxury. We're just here to do a report, mate. We're not here to cause no harm. We're not here to cause no harm. What you had in your face there? You got your SIA badge? Are you registered?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? What you had in your face for? 16th century what I would call a castle. Gatehouse. Here's migrants here. Got their own basketball ring. Where are you from, my friend? Where are you from?
Georgia.
Georgia? Is there a war in Georgia? No English. Are you staying here? How long for? How long you been here?
Don't talk to them.
From Georgia? Is there a war in Georgia? Hey. If you want to jump on a boat from Georgia where there's not a war and be given a castle while our elderly are freezing in their homes and our homeless are dying in shop doorways, jump in a dinghy. Come on, join the open borders experiment. Come here for free and get everything because the taxpayer will pay it.
Stirring stuff, that, isn't it? It makes you proud to be British. Oh, no, it doesn't make you proud to be British. It boils your piss in the bladder. That's what it does. I've made the point many times before. If you said you were going to import 50,000 unvetted 16 to 35-year-old men from Scotland, it'd be a terrible idea because a large amount of them would be chavvy, hooligans, criminals and the like. It's the worst gender and the worst age group for committing horrific acts. And doing it with people from the first world would be a terrible idea. But opening it up to everyone on planet Earth is lunacy. And it's not hyperbole, because we all know, I'll just reel off a few, I don't even need Google. Emily Jones was killed by an Albanian. Lee Rigby went through an unscheduled surgical procedure in the middle of the street at the hands of several gentlemen that hailed from distant shores. Salman Abadi redecorated the Manchester Evening News Arena in entrail red. London Bridge, Borough Market, 7-7. These things all happened, and the lion's share of the people that committed them hail from distant shores. I'll just leave it at that. Also, because a lot of people seem to be acting like this is some sort of wacky conspiracy theory, don't forget they did it on purpose. I've made the point before, but I'll show you the story, because I remember it. From the Telegraph, this was: Labour sent out search parties for waifs and strays from all four corners of the globe. Lord Mandelson admits. Lord Mandelson. I think I prefer Lord Haw-Haw. He conceded that they've sent out search parties for him in a policy which has created a problem for British people unable to find work. Lord Mandelson admitted. A problem. Yeah, it caused a problem for British people, but it caused a bigger problem for little British girls, didn't it? They had a bit of an issue because of, massive gangs of hairy-ass blokes giving them the good news on a daily basis while all of our politicians laughed. Because it was your kids, fellow working-class scum, that were getting it, and not theirs. You think Angela Merkel has to deal with this type of problem in whatever leafy shire she lives in, the little fat poison dwarf? Do you think she's worrying about it? As a guarantee she isn't. So to sum up, let's just sum up, shall we, before I burst a blood vessel. The people that have butchered their way across the continent, from Nice to Nantes, there was a Christmas market just got hit the other day, to London Bridge, to Borough Market, to Manchester Evening News Arena, to the Bataclan, to Charlie Hebdo, to endemic gangs, which I've just showed you a slide of. Those people were all invited in. Nay, not even invited in. The government went to their houses and said, "Do you want a lift, lads?" That's what happened. The British government did it on purpose to rub your noses in it because they don't care. They like making you angry. It's all about stoking the division, getting everybody's blood up. They do it to drive you mad. Cleverer people than me have talked about this at great length. It's on purpose. So my question to you is, what are you going to do about it? I know it sounds easy for me gobbing off about it, safe 10,000 miles away with enough ammunition to kill the Chinese Navy, but the ball's in your court. Not Hampton Court. No, there's a lot of Moroccans in there. Okay, but the ball's in your court. Enough is enough. And the child exploitation and the torture and the abuse and the mass murder and the two-tier legal system that locks you up for stickers or tweets but ignores... Well, they let a machete murderer in Newcastle out after 6 months, didn't they? Killed a teenage boy in the street. He's now a free man while Mr. Mellier is still in the nick. So there's a problem, a very, very big one. And you just need to ask yourself, what can I do to help? Hopefully more than me sunning myself thousands of miles away. I almost feel guilty about it, I do, but I'm not going to quit a full-time job and move. Certainly not move back to Middlesbrough to become a full-time political activist, because I really don't like those people. Most of them read The Guardian, okay? But I'm doing my due diligence and I'm making you aware of it. Please go and follow those two fine gentlemen on X. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Keep your chins up. They can't stop us laughing. They can lock you up for plenty of things, but not for laughing. At least, not yet anyway. Thanks for watching. Toodle pip. Cheers.